First tonight, we're keeping a close eye on Hurricane Lee as it churns in the Atlantic, set to hit the state of Maine in just a matter of days. Good evening, and thanks for joining us here on News Center Maine at 5:30. I'm Zach Blanchard.
And I'm Chris Costa. Tonight, Governor Janet Mills has declared a state of emergency. The now Category 1 storm is expected to bring strong winds and heavy rain. Central Maine Power and Versant Power are both preparing for extensive outages. The governor's declaration ensures that there are adequate state resources to respond. She's also asked President Joe Biden to issue an emergency disaster declaration.
All eyes will soon be on the sky as boaters, first responders, and even some inland farmers prepare for whatever Lee brings our way.
Today, the Coast Guard shared its plan for the storm, and as News Center Maine's David Guilford explains, animals have plans of their own.
Our stations will be obviously monitoring the weather.
The Coast Guard waits patiently for rougher seas to come this weekend.
We want to see where the wind is going, where it's coming from, how strong it's blowing.
In South Portland, one of 6 Coast Guard stations along the Maine coast, they're dealing with a crowded harbor.
You know, a lot of boats are still in the water, both commercial and recreational boats, which is obviously very different than, some of the winter nor'easters we've had in December and January.
The first priority is safety of people and property, of course, but a port is much more than a waterway.
The second priority that we have is the health of our maritime transportation system, which is the economic backbone of our community.
In the aftermath of whatever comes, the Coast Guard will assess any environmental or travel hazards that could impact movement in a harbor. In Portland's harbor, the connection to its many islands may suffer. Casco Bay Lines told us ferry service disruptions are infrequent but possible, and that they would run the boats until the captain determines it's unsafe or the Coast Guard closes the port.
You hear these stories of animals acting strangely when big storms are coming.
Meanwhile, lobsterman Jacob Knowles noticed birds taking shelter on his boat this week.
This morning we actually came across the most birds we've ever come across.
While Maine Audubon naturalist Doug Hitchcock said birds have amazing instincts and will change flight patterns based on incoming storms, he also said that scene isn't too out of the ordinary.
There are literally millions of birds migrating south as we head into the fall, and I think it's a little combination of things that kind of set up the spectacle that's going on.
Back with the Coast Guard, protecting coastal communities is serious work. But these men and women signed up for weekends like this. Some are itching to get out from the dock.
Yes, those crews will be ready, and yeah, they're excited to get out there in heavy weather. It's not something we get every day. So, when we have the opportunity, we're gonna take advantage of it.
In South Portland, David Guilford, News Center Maine.